In this section of the lecture, we will identify and characterize the social problems of modern society, which are reflected in the film Parasite, and also answer the question, to what extent does this film work for social change? The appeal of Korean directors to the problems of social inequality and social justice testifies to their involvement in modern socio-humanitarian trends of our time. Director Bong Joon-ho is a graduate of the Department of Sociology at Yonsei University and is no doubt well versed in these matters. During his studies, he took part in protest demonstrations of teachers. He was released on the condition that he served in the army. After returning from the army, Bong Joon-ho continued his study, but did not give up his beliefs. In setting the goal of studying social issues in South Korean cinema, it is necessary to outline the limitations of the study. First, it would be wrong to interpret the content of the film Parasite solely in terms of social class conflict. Bong Joon-ho himself says, Parasite is not propaganda, nor is it a documentary. He is not going to teach people how to change lives. The main message and ending of the movie, as well as in the film Bong Joon-ho's No Peace, are more than ambiguous. Parasite is a multi-layered film that breaks the usual genre stereotypes and provides opportunities for a variety of areas of analysis. It is the irony of black humor and crime thriller and horror and social, family, personal drama and in the same time entertainment. In other words, the analysis of social problems in films does not exhaust possible other interpretations of the artistic, aesthetic, psychological, or spiritual meanings of these films. Second, the social issues presented in the film are not limited to Korean society. The universal world of global capitalism leads to the polarization of the population, the alienation of people from each other, to ever increasing forms of social injustice. For example, in Russia, social inequality and other social problems are no less acute than in South Korea. However, in our opinion, Russian cinema is not capable of reflecting these problems in films in the same modern way as Korean cinema, which is partly due to the lesser integration of Russian society in the global international context as a whole. The only exception, perhaps, is Andrei Zvyagintsev film Yelena. No less relevant are all the social problems reflected in the film of Bong Joon-ho for countries of developed capitalism. The concepts of individualized society, the consequences of globalization for a person and society, fluid modernity, fluid love, a consumer society, and retrotopia by the British sociologist Zygmunt Bauman served as theoretical basis for the analysis of the film Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. The approaches of the British sociologists highlight profound changes in all spheres of human life, social polarization and deprivation, the formation and spread of cosmopolitan action, the lack of certainty and trust in institutional governance structures. An individualized society is characterized by the strengthening of the role of forces and tendencies and controlled by people, the growth of uncertainty, the suppression of those manifestations of the human spirit that in the past inspired people to social transformations. Under these conditions, chaos becomes the norm. The growth of aggression is provoked not only by specialized agents of violence, but also by imitation of acts of violence in the media space, the formation of the image of a hidden enemy in the distinct and close environment. The most terrible disasters now strike at random, choosing their victims according to the strange logic. Modern uncertainty is a powerful force of individualization. It divides, not unites, and because no one is told where he will wake up the next day, the idea of common interests becomes more and more vague and loses all practical value. Modern fears, anxieties, and resentiments are created in order to survive them alone. All this is compounded by what Zygmunt Bauman called back to inequality, objective and subjective deprivation. Subjective deprivation is associated with a feeling of a gap between reality and expectations, which are especially characteristic of young people in modern conditions. The film Parasite attracted the attention of the academic community with articles and books analyzing it published. For example, Parasite, a philosophical exploration of the film Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. In this book, the authors attempt to interpret from the standpoint of Nietzsche philosophy, apply approaches associated with the Russian literature, especially Mikhail Dostoevsky, use the ideas of Hannah Arendt, Gilles Deleuze, Slavoj Žižek, Pierre Bourdieu, Bruno Latour. An interesting analysis was made from the standpoint of the philosophy of Michel Serres, which he outlined in the work Parasite in 1980. Serres, speaking about the representation of the social as natural, reconsiders all relations in nature and society. He writes that we have done away with predation, but gradually our relationship to nature and to each other has become parasitic. In communication, the parasite creates noise and rustle, interferes and forms an alternative system. What is a parasite? He who lives at the expense of another and calls this other the master. The parasite attaches itself to the body of its host and begins to feed on it. Parasitic relationships do not involve reciprocity. The parasite gives nothing in return. Potentially, it destroys its master. Sira is trying to understand the logic between the subject and the object of the thought. A parasite that breaks connections and at the same time creates new ones, changes the configuration of the system itself, create a new order. Among Sira's arguments is that as pests, small groups can become major players in the social dialogue, creating the diversity and complexity vital to human life and thoughts. The methods of collecting empirical data was the content analysis of the film with the allocation of such units of observation as key characters, timing, number of appearances in the frame, replicas, and the general characteristics of the film participants. The analysis of the film Parasite was carried out on the basis of elements of a system analysis that contributes to a better disclosure of the social content of films. Helmut Korte, in his book, presented a model of film analysis based on contextual factors, including such parameters of facts about the film, immanent characteristics, facts about the origin of the film, why does the film actualize this particular content in this form. The actual basis of the film, how does it relate to cinematic display, and the real meaning of the film, and effects of influence, the main trends of the film perception of the film by its contemporaries. Interviews with director Bong Joon-ho, reviews by Russian and foreign film critics, the audience reviews that contain reactions to the film's social issue were also analyzed. Social issues will be conceptualized within the framework of economic inequality, global and local contexts of inequality, and social perspectives. We will also try to answer the main research question: to what extent does the social problems represented in the film work for social changes in society?